for a party. Let's hear it. Come on, come on. Perfect, good. Now, who's ready to plan a party? Oh, no, I'm not sure I'm hearing the enthusiasm I was hoping for. Well, it is time to put on your party hats, because at one point or another, we are all going to be asked to plan a special event. It could be a birthday party, an anniversary, or some other milestone celebration, but you're all going to be asked to rise to the occasion. So let's get ready. A few years ago, I was wandering through an antique store when I came across a well-worn copy of a book called Betty Crocker's Guide to Easy Entertaining: How to Have Guests and Enjoy Them. I was intrigued. I'm an obsessive organizer of people, places, things, and events. Yes, it's a bit of an illness, but I was curious to see what Betty had to say about planning events back in the day. So travel back with me, if you will, to the year 1959. In the late 1950s, big new electric refrigerators and a variety of frozen, canned, and convenience foods made entertaining possible for everyone. It was time to throw a party. She talks about, now, some of the advice that Betty provides has certainly gone out of style. She devotes many pages to the proper etiquette for the lady of the house, always the lady of the house. For instance, how to urge her guests to move through to the living room for after-dinner coffee or cocktails. Making sure, of course, there was plenty of cracked ice, cigarettes, matches, and ashtrays on hand. She provides tempting recipes for the buffet table, such as jellied chicken loaf, avocado mousse, and delectable desserts, such as broiled canned peaches with dollops of green jelly in the center. And let us not forget the exotic new recipe from Mexico she introduces called guacamole. That's right, an appetizer to be served with saltine crackers. But much of Betty's advice rings true still today. She provides the definition of hospitality as being disposed to entertain with generous kindness. As a modern-day event planner, I think that definition has withstood the test of time. You see, planning events in today's world isn't really all that different as it was in the 1950s. We simply need to rediscover Betty's definition of hospitality and incorporate it into our 21st century lives. First, being disposed. This is how to be ready in detail and in spirit. The best events are those that appear to be no trouble. But this effect can only be achieved by paying attention to those details. Betty says the first step is deciding what kind of party you can give most gracefully with the equipment, time, space, help, and money at your disposal. Now, if this phrase sounds a little familiar to you, it's because it's the foundation of every project you've ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the author of the original project management textbook, Ms. Betty Crocker. Come on, she nailed it. Every project begins with understanding the scope, time, and resources you have at your disposal, and then managing them to create a result that is high quality, on time, and on budget. A sales manager at a local venue once told me, "You can't have a filet mignon event if you've only got a fried chicken budget." Sounds a little harsh, right? Well, Betty found a kinder way to say it. She says that hospitality isn't a contest. It's sharing the best you have without apology. So don't let limited resources stop you. If your budget's tight, you simply have to adjust the scope of your event. No worries, who doesn't like a little fried chicken now and then? Next, entertain. How to entertain others while enjoying the event yourself. With just a little advanced planning, you will be able to relax and have fun at your events. And if you're having a good time, your guests will too. Betty says the best gift you can give a new bride is a pencil and a pad of paper. That's because making lists and planning ahead is going to lessen the risk of unpleasant surprises and unwanted stress. Who needs it, right? Now notice she says lessen, not eliminate. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I've got a little experience in this area. I've had recipe fails and Pinterest project fails and even a couple of minor personal injuries in my event planning adventures. But if things go wrong, you just keep going. I know you've been to plenty of events where everything wasn't necessarily going according to plan, and you didn't even realize it. That's because the organizers were keeping their cool and working their backup plan, and everyone was having a great time. You just have to keep breathing, smile, and improvise. Next, generous. How to be generous? By giving it your best effort. Serving with generosity doesn't mean you've spent a lot of money. It simply means that you've done everything you can to make your guests feel special. One of the sweetest memories I have of my father was the look on his face when he walked into his surprise 70th birthday party. Being able to give him the opportunity to share that special day with the friends and the family that he loved so much was the best gift we could have ever given to him. Betty says that the key in serving with generosity lies in the word giving a party. Those who think of their events as a gift to their guests and their loved ones can't go wrong. And finally, kindness. Serving with kindness so that guests feel treasured. Betty recalls when she was a young girl going over to her best friend's house to play after school. Her best friend's mother asked if she'd like to stay over and take potluck with them. When asked if she was sure it was no trouble, she said, "No trouble at all. I'll just call your mother and let her know I'm adding a cup of water to the soup. Always enough here, Betty, for one more that we love." Betty felt like a treasured guest every time she shared a meal with his family. What she experienced in that home was genuine kindness. So the question is, what opportunities to create amazing memories with your friends and your family have already been lost because you think you're not organized enough, or you think your house is too messy, or you think you can't set a table like Martha Stewart? Well, it is time to rise to the occasion, my friends. Get out your calendar, a pencil, and a pad of paper and create a plan. Shove the clutter and the fear of failure behind a firmly closed door. Whip up a batch of jelly chicken loaf and make it happen. And while you're at it, get your kids involved in the action. They're going to learn everything they need to know about generous kindness from you. It has never been truer than it is today. Our families, our workplaces, our communities, our world could use more Betty-style hospitality. So shower the people you love with love by always, always being disposed to entertain with generous kindness. Thank you, Betty.